I did a show called Light Moments in Sports with Joe Namath, and I was actually producing the show, and Joe couldn't go out and do stuff, because of his needs. He just wasn't capable, and they needed somebody to go out and do crazy sports stuff. And I went to the Monster Factory in New Jersey and had done this story, and it appeared in this Light Moments in Sports show, and I was told that somehow Vince saw it. Somebody saw me do it. I played the idiot reporter who gets crap beat out of him, and that he saw it. And a guy that was working there at the time, I don't know if you remember him, Scotty Davis, had worked for MLB and worked at the facility. He was one of the guys helping with the syndicated tapes, getting them sent out. And he called me and said, Vince wants you to audition. And that was like the first I'd heard of anything. Of course, I kept up on what was happening with the WWF, but as far as actually getting a chance to get a job there, do you know how the hell I ended up there? Do you, or how that came about? Do you remember? Because you were there at my audition.
Yeah. I remember seeing a tape, and I remember seeing a tape of you do it, and it was sports stuff. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember seeing stuff. Vince said, "Take a look at this guy, and let's get him in here." And the rest, as they say, is history, because we had Gene Okerlund, who was doing a lot of that stuff, and Gene was just getting completely just worn to bits. And the event center was something that I had come up with to basically save talent and to try and save Gene at the time from doing you would have to do interviews for every single market. And Howard Finkel used to write out who would do what interviews and had everybody doing every conceivable interview that you could do for every conceivable market. And probably 10% of it actually ever made air, but Howard would do it to entertain himself.
Yeah.
So the idea was to streamline it and do wraparounds. So the talent only had to do one generic promo for their opponent, and then we would do the wraparounds for the town specific. And it was similar to what we had done in Mid-South, but it was a much bigger project. And that's how the event center was born.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But Gene was burnt, and we needed someone. Yeah. Vince was looking for a younger look, other than Okerlund, and didn't want to burn Gene out at the time. And here was this kid. I forget how your tape came to us. I thought you had sent it to us.
No, well, I did, because that was after Scott called me and said, "Send up your tape." Like somebody had seen that bit on the Light Moments in Sports show, and he said, "Send your tape up here." So he's the one that got my tape to you guys. And then I got this call, and I remember I can't remember the HR guy was.
Alan Frost.
Yes. And he met me at the train station and took me over there in Linda's Jaguar at the time that she had, and took me to the TV studio where, of course, I did the infamous "Sell Me the Broom" audition. that I don't remember that part. I heard you had mentioned that I did a somewhat decent job with it. I must have done something to get your attention, but I always remember, like, what? That's like "Sell Me a Pencil," right? Kind of the old. And I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember what I did, but obviously it worked. And I do remember the one thing I did do that I thought would stand out is I knew, okay, they've got all these guys coming up here doing these auditions. I have to do something different, like that's beyond what they asked me to do. And I came up with this dumb-ass skit where I think I did, all you wrestling fans, you're crazy about the WWF. It's time to come out of the closet. Tell your friends and family, burst out of there. I don't remember but I did that, and I just to be different. And 2 weeks later, I got a call from Alan, and he said, "If you want to come up here and work," and I think I was making I don't know, 50,000 or something at the time, which I thought was okay. And I can't remember what the amount was, but I said, if you give me like 3 more, I'll do it. So